Hello everyone, next Walk Hill Bethelite, and we have
Jeron Benson. We're out here in San Antonio. Downtown San Antonio, with Serenity and another friend, Valissia.
Hey y'all, get my drink on.
there ain't no JWs out here. They ain't out here preaching. It's too hot for them. So the ex-JWs, as always, we more active than the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yep.
And we're talking about how you can have more fun, more fulfillment outside of the cult than you can have inside the cult. Because we've been hanging out, we've been drinking big drinks. Look at these drinks.
I've been drinking.
We've been talking about whatever we want to talk about. We've been having fun, and ain't nobody judging nobody else.
Exactly.
You ain't worried about if I say something, Mark is gonna shun me or something like that.
Exactly. You can curse. We've just been talking this shit, right?
Be yourself.
That's it.
And the crazy thing is that's how Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to be, because you're not, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to judge other people. The Bible says to take care of the rafter in your own eye before you start pointing out the straw into somebody else's eye. But that's all Jehovah's Witnesses do, is point out the straw in every other church, but they don't pay attention to the rafter in Watchtower.
Amen. Amen. And
Expound on it.
that's right. And like you said, we're enjoying ourselves, right? We're enjoying ourselves. A lot of witnesses, they have this mind frame, this mentality. Let's wait until paradise to enjoy life. Let's wait until paradise to travel, to get married, to have kids, to start a family. I'm living my life right now. In the last, 9-10 days, I've been in 7 different cities, 2 different countries. I'm just traveling, meeting other ex-witnesses, and living my life. This is how life should be. Life should be lived. We have one life to live, guys. Like I always say, live your life to the fullest, because there's no time machine. You can't go back 70, 80 years after serving the Watchtower and then say, oh, it was all, I was duped. It was all a front. It was all a lie. You can't go back in time. So why waste your precious life? Why not live your life right now? I'm here having a great time with Serenity, Marcus, and Valissia. We have one life, guys. One life. And
Wasting it away. And she brought out a real good point about, you got a whole lot of like people who are African American or maybe Native, or even Caribbean, and they're giving their whole lives away to a group of white men in New York. Now, how does this make any kind of sense whatsoever for us, especially as African American people? And this is her point. I don't want to steal her point.
My point.
Yeah, about education. And you got African Americans letting a group of white people tell them, you ain't allowed to learn. You know how racist that sounds?
Yep.
You ain't allowed to go to get no school, and you ain't allowed to learn writing and
I said about college.
writing
But
and
he's right, though.
reading and arithmetics. You Negroes need to stay away from colleges and stay stupid and stay putting money in our contribution boxes. And you got people that do it.
Yep. Sad to say.
You got people that do it. You got a lot of people that could have went to college for free ride. But you got, especially I remember talking to some of my relatives. I remember talking to my sister about how when her kids grow up, this is a technical age, they're going to need some sort of schooling.
Yep.
And she's over here telling me, yeah, but there's bad association in them schools. Like, you got people who don't believe in the Bible and this, that, and the third. And I told her, like, idiot, when they get older and they off in a warehouse working 12 hours a day because they couldn't get them a good technical job because they didn't go to college, they're going to be around bad association then too.
Yep.
Except for they're going to be around them longer, working them long hours. So you got people that don't even have a good reason to be giving their lives away to a group of men that said that they are not inspired at all. You're literally just, you're a peg in this little machine called Watchtower, and they don't even know you exist.
Exactly. It's sad. It's like, why would you listen to men that say they're not inspired by God? Like, what logical sense does that make? If someone says they're not inspired by God, they're fallible, they make mistakes, why are you betting your entire life based on what they say? And
bet
then
on your own understanding.
Exactly.
Bet on yourself. Why would I go if he's uninspired and infallible? So am I. You know, so I'm gonna put all my money on me. Put it on black. And keep on riding.
Bet your money on yourself.
No pun intended, right?
No pun intended. I'm gonna put it on black. I'm gonna trust in my own understanding. You know,
And you got
can't let
people
somebody
at
else live your
Bethel.
life.
Yeah.
People at Bethel drinking big drink, but then you got your rank and file Jehovah Witness that feel like they can't do anything. They're not allowed to have any fun. But at Bethel, the people who are running the whole thing, drinking big cases of beer and all kinds of stuff, run around with big drink like us, you know what I mean, having fun. It's always the rank and file, the people who suffer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The people who suffer from not having a blood transfusion. You think if old Samuel Turd or Samuel Hurd, if he needed a blood transfusion, you think he ain't gonna get one?
Exactly, yeah.
That dude is gonna get one. Yep. And he gonna get one of them big drink while he in the hospital getting his blood transfusion. It's the rank and file.
And he got better insurance.
Oh, you better believe he got good
Sure
insurance.
And you pay for it.
Yep. You paying for their insurance.
Going back to the education real quick, right? Who are these men to tell you, don't pursue secular education, don't go to college? Who are these men to say that a witness would say, you know what, don't go to college because the end is right around the corner. But when the end doesn't come in 40, 50, 60 years, and you have no pension, no savings, no 401k plan, then what? So why would witnesses listen to men that's telling them don't pursue secular education when they don't even know when the end is gonna come? Tony, what's his name? Stephanet said back in 2020, we are in the final parts of the last days. And just last year, he said, when is the end coming? We don't know.
Exactly.
So, you see how these men, they're still so hypocritical. They're telling people don't pursue secular education because the end is right around the corner. They can't even predict when the end comes. On top of that, the Bible says no one knows the day or the hour when the end is gonna come. So guys, if you're watching this video as a Jehovah's Witness and these men are telling you don't pursue secular education, meanwhile, they're sitting comfortably, financially comfortable in upstate New York. Are they helping people? When witnesses spend 50, 60, 70 years of their life waiting for paradise, they don't pursue a secular education. Are these men taking money out of their pockets and say, hey, you broke, you need some money? Let me write you a check, let me send you some cash. These men don't care about you guys. So when it comes to education, learn as much as possible, go to college if need be, do you, take care of you, because organizations, they are not gonna take care of you guys, all right?
No, they only take care of the people at the top, like Tony Morris. When they kicked him out, they got him a house, right?
Yep.
They got them 2 houses.
Yeah, he got a house, then it's another house across the street from him, right?
Yeah.
So they gonna take care of the people at the top.
And another thing, it's like while these governing body people are sitting up in wherever they're at, it ain't pretty being a Walmart greeter in your 60s. And I'm not knocking Walmart greeting. I'm not saying that, but they have those jobs for those really elderly people, and they're standing up on their feet however long they're standing up on, or fast food, or one of those hard time labor jobs. Look, I can't even walk a couple of blocks down the street at 55. I ain't even trying to. You think I'm trying to sit up on my feet all day?
Yeah.
You know, for a few dollars an hour, and the rent is what it is? I think not. So, you know, while they're sitting up there getting their breakfast made and their lunch made and their dinner made and they're living in prime luxury, you're sitting out here working, barely making it on a job that's not paying you anything. If you're eating, you're getting food stamps to do it, you know, and then you'll probably be working until you're hardcore 65 if they don't raise it up to 70. So, bet on you every time.
That's what I used to think back in the day. I used to think it was betting on Jehovah. When I was younger, I would say I would bet on Jehovah because if I bet on Jehovah, I can't be wrong. But that was back when Watchtower said they were the one and only true channel directed by Jehovah. Now they said they ain't even the channel no more. They ain't, inspired or infallible.
Jeffrey
So
Jackson
just like
said
you
it.
saying, You know what I mean? If you're going to bet on somebody's understanding, why wouldn't you bet on your own understanding? Why wouldn't you guide and direct your own family?
Yep.
And that's what I don't understand about men in the I can't even say it right, the organization. How you going to let a group of other grown men tell a grown man if he can have a beard or not? That don't make no sense.
Or if a sister can wear pants, right?
Your wife, you got some other man in New York telling you if your wife can wear pants or not. And she's wearing them because they said so. That's crazy.
Or the worst one, the worst new light that came out was you could talk to the people who had the phone. You could give a simple hello.
Yeah.
Now, what about all those people who took their lives when they were 100% shunned? They had nobody to talk to. They were extremely depressed, extremely miserable. What about those people? What about those people who needed a simple greeting, a simple hello?
We make no apologies for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's their mindset.
We make no apologies for that. You know, and then now that the sisters can wear pants, when Sister Badonkadonk walked through there, and she got some jeans on or some slacks on, that's hugging, you know, her cheeks. That's another committee meeting.
Exactly.
You know, well, sister, you know, brother so and so can't control himself when he see, you know, you in them slacks. So you might want to go back to dresses. You know, come on.
It's gonna start a whole bunch of
That's a whole
nonsense.
other supervision thing going on.
Yeah, no, I've been thought about that, about the whole pants rule. Because for the longest time they would blame sisters when guys at the assemblies wasn't able to control themselves. So now you're gonna have them in pants, and the pants can be just as curvy as a dress.
Yep.
So now they just gonna blame them even more. But the whole moral of the whole thing is, how are grown men gonna let somebody else tell your wife if she can wear pants or not? And how do you feel like a man growing a beard now because another man who ain't your daddy
Gave you permission
to grow a beard? That's why years ago, before this beard rule, zoom in the camera, before the beard rule, years ago, I said Jehovah's Witness men have a little boy mentality. I didn't say it like that. I used a curse word. I called them bitchs.
Bitch.
But yeah, I call them bitches. I call Jehovah's Witness men bitches because, and then it got proven when these men told them they can have, like, another grown man ain't gonna tell me that I can and can't do nothing if I don't work for him. So I mean, it's crazy. That's what's so crazy about all this stuff.
And
They ain't inspired nor infallible, but they can tell you if you can or cannot have facial hair, and if your wife can wear pants or if she can't.
Yeah. And it's like this is why I always compare this organization. When you wake up, this is identical to the Twilight Zone. You know, the black and white 1960s?
Yeah, I love that shit.
I made so many videos about this because the shit don't make sense.
No.
And at the every end of a Twilight Zone, it was a cliffhanger, right? It left you thinking, like, what the hell? What's going on, right? That's exactly how it is when you wake up. Us who has woken up from this cult, we look back at the religions and you just want to shake these people. You want to shake them until they have some common sense, right? Because it's like, how do you still believe this? Like, this is a nightmare. Seeing our families and friends trapped in this nonsense. When men say that they're not inspired by God, you might want to take their word. There's a saying.
When they show you who they
Exactly.
are,
Believe them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yep.
they told you they're uninspired.
Yep.
They told you they're infallible. Do we know what those words mean? You know, Jehovah's Witnesses always look up words. Look them up.
But they don't know what none of them mean.
Yeah.
Look up them words.
So if someone says they're not inspired by God, there's nothing to it. There's no, but they have Holy Spirit, they're directed by, no. Witnesses try to make excuses for these men. There's no excuse. I remember when I told my mom about this, and this is in a watchtower. This is in the 2017 watchtower, I think February. It clearly says word for word that the governing body are not inspired by God, and they are fallible, they make mistakes. I read that before they came out in public. They said it last year. And I showed my mom this, and the first thing she said was, "Oh, I gotta ask the elder. What does that mean?" You don't have to ask the elder shit. If the own brochure of the watchtower says they're not inspired by God, there is no reason at all to follow them. There's no reason whatsoever.
They don't know it either. Like, I asked an elder about the overlapping generations rule. I pretended to be, interested. And if they had Holy Spirit, I don't know how they didn't know I was pretending. But I asked them about the overlapping generation rule, and dude told me he had to get back to me. I'm like, what do you mean? You're supposed to be guided and directed by Jehovah to be able to teach us this stuff.
Exactly.
What you mean you got to get back to me? What in the world? So the elders didn't even understand half the crap. So y'all are following people, and it's like the blind following the blind.
Yep.
All of them gonna end up in the pit.
Yeah, I told Jeron when we were on our way over here, the overlapping generation. My mother was a witness for 49 years. She was 85 when she passed away last year. My aunt, who directed her into this faith, is 89 right now. So she was born, my aunt was born in 1934. 1934. So is that the overlapping generation, or is it how does the overlapping keep going? Because my aunt's gonna be 90 years old this year. So how many times do you gotta overlap? You know, it makes no sense.
That make no sense.
It makes no sense. You know, the numbers aren't numbering, as the kids say. The math ain't mathing. If it was 1914, 1925, 1975, 2000, 2024, I was never supposed to grow old and have children. I am 55 with a 20-year-old, and I started having kids late. I didn't have my daughter until I was 34. So that was, you know, that right there, you know, and I think my aunt, who's 89, is having to tend to her daughter who's in her 60s, who did not have children. Her and her husband did not have children. So my aunt's having to take care of her daughter who's sick. Is that fair to her? You know, they never had the joy of having their own children, or having their children to come and help them, take care of them. So my aunt could age gracefully in her last, you know, few years of life. You know, this religion, it takes so much. That's why I said before, it takes so much from you. You can't have friends from when you're in high school. My friend Linda, she has friends from elementary school that she's had for life. They've been friends for birthdays and children and marriages and divorces and holidays. And we don't get that. We got robbed from that. You know, it's just things that we will never get to experience because of this religion. You know, not only not having, you know, friends from school, not only not having children, home ownership, decent job, you know, nice vacation, you know, just a time of not worrying about a bill because you're a low-wage worker. Those things, Watchtowers, they easily took from you. You know, and you won't just stop and say, let me take a look into what. Don't take my word. Don't take their word. Just look at the Watchtower's materials. Just look at their study materials. Read what they had to say, and watch how the truth can't be the truth if it keeps changing. New light is not new light. New light is the revealing of old lies. That's all it is.
Also, one thing too. Also, when it comes to any type of relationship or friendship, right? It's supposed to be a two-way street. As a witness, everything is one way. You're giving to the organization your time, your money, your energy. You're giving. What are you receiving in return? You're getting back pipe dreams of, oh, just around the corner. Meanwhile, like I said, you're giving financially, you're giving your time, your energy, you're giving everything, every fiber of your being to this energy. And it's supposed to be a two-way street. You can't ask the organization for money. The higher ups, you can't ask them for any type of financial assistance. The only thing that they can provide you is these false pipe dreams. But it's supposed to be a two-way street. And it's sad how witnesses are always giving. And now we just talks about giving financially now, right? Tidings?
They ain't giving to nobody but to Watchtower.
That's it, exactly. But they're making talks about giving, I think, a tenth of your. You heard about that, right? So.
No, I didn't hear about giving a tenth. I
it's
didn't
a
hear
price
about them
per head.
tithing.
It's
It's a price per head.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like Kim and Mikey's video where it's like 10 something a publisher now.
That's crazy.
For
But how is
America.
that
Yeah.
Christian
Yep.
when you are giving away money to the Watchtower that you should be giving to your family or to your kids?
Or even for yourself. Saving it for yourself.
Like you got people whose family, instead of handing down their inheritance to their kids, are giving it all to Watchtower. Is that Christian? That is not Christian at all, not giving two damns about your own family.
Yep.
So when people see Jehovah's Witnesses out in the street, y'all need to let them know y'all don't want these cult members in your community because they don't take care of the community that they're using. They don't help pick up no trash. They don't help with the poor. They don't help with the homeless. They don't help with nothing. But they gonna stand out in the community talking about take our watchtowers and join our religion. They hardly even take care of their own families. So, I mean, I got relatives I ain't talked to in a decade. You know what I mean? But they'll sit out here and they'll talk to some random stranger because they're trying to get them to join their religion. So I think that the community should be made aware of this, how dangerous this cult is. And I think that's part of what we're doing. We out here talking loud so everybody can hear how bad Jehovah's Witnesses are.
Yep.
You can film all around and you ain't gonna see none of them over here. Because if they were, we was gonna get them if they were.
I would be nice to hand them a drink, actually. You thirsty, brother or sister? You want some alcoholic beverage to keep you going?
Yeah.
Can I buy you a drink?
Oh my God.
But you know what? I always think about it's two things I always think about when I think about what I remember growing up. The story of the Good Samaritan. How the Good Samaritan stopped and he just helped a random stranger who was beat up and needed help. Jehovah's Witnesses don't even help themselves.
Yep.
They don't even help the people. Billion-dollar corporation does not help its own members. And then the members within it only help each other. They don't go outside the community.
Yeah.
So they're not even like the Good Samaritan. They don't go outside and help random strangers.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, the other thing that I thought about when they kept saying that in the last days they would have no natural affection. That they preach exactly what they tell it on themselves.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, how is it natural for a mother to shun her child, or a child to shun their parent?
Yep.
You know, or for people who've been friends, you know, for a long time to say, okay, I can't talk to you anymore. That's just not natural. It's not natural to say, okay, 12-year-old child, meaning me, having a flashback. Okay, trigger moment. You know, I'm flashbacking. 12-year-old child, no one's gonna talk to you because you made a mistake. As if that's all children do is make mistakes because they're learning. That's what children do. It's like I told my daughter, I say, sweetheart, you are going to make mistakes because that is part of your learning process. And to sit there and tell a 12-year-old, you made a mistake, and we, who don't know you well enough to say, we don't think you're apologetic enough about it, we're going to lie. You can't talk to anyone now until we, who don't really know you, think you're ready to be reinstated. That's not natural. Go ahead.
And speaking of continuing what she said, having no natural affection. Just last year, I told my family that I no longer believe in this nonsense. I've done my research. I encouraged them to do the research, right? And instead of listening to me, they automatically blocked me, right? Oh, this is apostate lies, without actually doing the research, right? And my mom, one of the last things she told me was, "Don't talk to me ever again. You are now an apostate. I have nothing left to say to you," right? And that was last year. Just last week, one of my PMO inactive friends actually saw my mom. She hung out with my mom last week in New York. I was in New York City about a week ago as well. My mom wouldn't see me just because I'm trying to spread the real truth about the truth. But she would associate with my PMO inactive friend. But yet she's shunning her own son. So when it comes to having no natural affection, this organization, they do a damn good job at it, because they could just cut people, family, and friends off like it's nothing. And it's sad how they will talk to a stranger, they'll knock on a stranger's door, try to convert a stranger, but they will shun their own blood, their own family. Like, when I say you can't make this shit up, you really can't.
Lie about it. They'll lie about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because is your mom gonna be truthful if somebody were to ask her,
Not the truth, no.
do you still talk to your son? You know what I mean? What is she gonna tell him?
Exactly. She's not gonna say, oh, well, he left the religion now, because she's gonna look bad.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. So if you go up to one of these Jehovah's Witnesses standing next to these carts, you know what I mean, and ask them, they will lie to your face when they have not spoken to their own family member in decades. My stepdad would do that. Somebody asked him about one of his, kids that he ain't talked to in a decade. He'll just, oh, they're fine, oh, they're...
Yep, exactly. Try to put
because
it
it's so low. What
Yeah.
they're doing is so low. That's why it would make them look bad.
Yep.
Because they're doing something that, I'm talking, people who are murderers wouldn't do that to their own family. People who are thieves wouldn't do that to their own son or daughter. So they're doing something that the lowest of the low in society would not stoop that low, calling themselves Christians. So they try to hide that stuff and put it under the rug, but we bring it up so that everybody knows just how bad these people are. These people are, that's monstrous to do that to your own son.
That is.
Or daughter. It's monstrous.
Yep.
I would even go as far to say, now the average JW knows what happens when they hear quote unquote apostate talk. And let's say, for example, in Jeron's case, when Jeron said to his mom, "Mother, I did my research," do you think your son, knowing the risk of losing contact with his mother and his brothers, his family, his friends, do you think he didn't do his due diligence, knowing the biggest penalty that could be administered to him would be administered if he was wrong? Do you think he didn't do due research to make sure this, let me dot my I's and cross my T's? Did I really hear Jeffrey Jackson say, we're not the only channel to God? Did I really hear Jeffrey Jackson tell that lie? Let me go and look at the transcript. Did the transcript say that? Let me go and investigate. Did they say in Canada that they're shunning their family, that's not what they did? Let me go and do my research. Let me look and see if there's a transcript. Do you think he wouldn't have done his due diligence to say, okay, this is what he said? Why would God want you to lie? What happened to that being a fearless witness and standing up for God? Exactly. Why that theocratic warfare now where you gotta lie? So I would tell any parent that's shunning their child, whether it's be for a person being a person, having a natural desire, or growing a beard, which is only natural, or making a mistake because we're imperfect, exactly. Or looking at something on, when they say you need a second witness for child molestation, what child molester asks for audience? This is the stuff you just can't, that in and of itself. I have a daughter. How could I sit here and listen to some people in New York tell me if my child got molested, well, she didn't have a witness, and he denies it. Well, do you think he asked for an audience? It's the kind of stuff that has to make sense for it to, God is if you believe in God, he's a God of order. That's what your Bible says. He's a God of order. He's a God of logic. Even imperfect man, when it comes down to child molestation cases, they don't even make the children have to testify in front of the person that they're accusing, because they know the trauma. They know the dynamics of an adult versus a child. But yet these men who have no learning, no learned education, no psychological anything, they're telling, well, they need a witness. And you just never know. The kids can lie.
Leave it in Jehovah's hands.
Go ahead. This is I get disgusted when I start thinking about it.
So me and Marcus was talking about this earlier, how when you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses about the truth, the quote on truth, right? They don't want to hear the actual truth. They want to hear only good things about their religion. But when you tell them anything that's actually, when you tell them facts and it's negative, they do apostate lies. They don't want to hear that. And it's sad that you can't speak the actual truth for witnesses because they see it as lies instead of them taking it in and doing their research and saying to themselves, hey, listen, is what he's saying is true? If it is true, let me do my own research to verify. But they don't have that logic. They don't have that logic, sad to say, But
yeah, we was talking about when I got back from Bethel. You guys a lot of you have heard about some of my Bethel experiences. Well, I've always had the same personality. I've always been really open and forthcoming when I was a JW. If I was up on the stage and I saw something that wasn't right, I would speak on it. So when I got back from Bethel, I was the same person. I was telling people the truth. You know what I mean? And I was shocked just as much as they were shocked. But the people that I was talking, especially the elders, they would say, boy, I believe you, because I don't believe you would lie about something that's been, the biggest part of your life for years. But I think you need to talk to somebody else about this.
See?
And this is my own stepdad telling me this. I think you need to talk to somebody else. I'm like, it's supposed to be a relative. You know what I mean? Who talk to who? Yeah. So nobody wanted to hear it. They only want to hear what's in the watchtower.
Yep.
The flowery BS that's in the watchtower. They don't want to hear the so-called truth. You know what I mean?
You know, here's the hypocrisy at its finest, at its best. When it comes to the news, right? The governing body leaders, they'll say, "Oh, don't listen to any type of negativity. It's all apostate lies. If it's not from us, don't listen to it," right? But on the flip side, when they advertise witnesses to be nice people, kind people, for instance, there was in Melbourne, Australia, there was it was on the news saying how Jehovah's Witnesses are the nicest people. They're having an international convention. There's 50,000 of them. They clean up after themselves. Then they'll glorify the witnesses. Oh, look what they said in the news. Witnesses are nice. They're good people. But on the flip side, when you say something negative about them, oh, don't listen. Those are apostate lies. So it's like they only want to listen to the positive, and that's not real life. That is not real. People are.
Real life.
No one is good. I have good and bad traits. He has good. We all have good and bad traits. No one is.
Don't.
Right? But,
All good.
But how hardy is that? To say, oh, we only want to hear good things about it. No, that's not true, because this organization is run by imperfect men. Imperfect people make mistakes. But yet you don't want to hear the negative. And when you do hear the negative, you rule it as apostate lies instead of being open-minded. I don't comprehend that.
Yep.
That's not reality.
And this ain't like buying a bad product on Amazon either, where you're looking at reviews, and if you get it and it disappoints me, oh well, I can get another product, or I learned my lesson. You are giving your life to something
Yep.
that you don't even know
Let me hold
is
this.
good or not. I mean, you're giving your whole life to an organization, and you think you're serving God, but in truth, you are serving men. And it's blatantly obvious to the fact that they even tell you themselves, we are not inspired and we are not infallible. But you continue to follow them. Do you not think the Most High, the God of the entire universe, knows what it's doing? But these men don't. So that alone should tell you that these men are not inspired by anything that represents truth, but something that represents the lie.
Amen.
Now make the connection. That's why we speak out, because we know we don't want anyone to continue being hurt, to give their life to something that is a lie, and then later on regret it.
And it'll be too late by then. It'll be too late by then. By the time,
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
by,
sorry.
by the
they
time,
upside down? Or it don't
Yeah,
matter?
probably
Don't
is.
matter?
Sorry. There we go.
by the time you find out that it's too late, your entire life has flashed you by. And like I always stress this in my videos, we have one life. There's no time machine. When Jehovah's Witnesses really live like this, maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's a time machine that I don't know about.
Well, no, they think it's gonna be a paradise. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but when it don't come and you 80 years old,
Exactly.
what then?
They don't have no plan B.
What then? It's
They
like
just
witnesses
gonna
don't think that far.
in the house with a bunch of cats, dogs, or whatever the heck. You know what I mean? Because they don't have nothing else. So we try to warn people, but we also, I mentioned this earlier on a post on Facebook, that Jehovah's Witnesses are a very destructive cult. They have victims. They literally leave a wake of victims. And I feel really bad for the victims. I want to do everything I can for those victims. You know, and I don't feel sorry for Jehovah's Witnesses at this point, because at this point, with the information that is available,
No excuse.
I would have left.
Yep.
And I was as dedicated could be. I went to sleep with my text and woke up with my text on my chest, so it could be the first thing I saw, so I wouldn't have a bad thought when I was at Bethel. You know what I mean? I was that extreme. I would have woke up if the governing body said we ain't inspired.
That's
What
common-
you mean you not? Where's all these magazines and what? Y'all printed your own body? So you mean to tell me you ain't got no assurance none of this is right?
That's nuts.
I would have woken up. So I feel bad for all the sexual abuse victims. You know, the people that have been shunned by their family, wronged by their family,
Giving their lives for not
giving up
accepting medical treatments
their lives for
because some men said not to.
died because of not accepting medical treatment. I feel sorry for them. I feel bad for them. I want to do for them And I want to speak up for them, but for the Jehovah's Witnesses that choose to remain in the cult, knowing, like he said, when he tried to speak up, they wouldn't even hear what he was saying. They wouldn't do any research, nothing. So people like that know most likely it's wrong, but they don't want to face it. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I feel like, they should put them in a leper colony or something to that effect. You know what I mean? They need to isolate them somewhere in Siberia.
I told my mother, when it got to a point when I saw the stuff about the child molestation and everything, and then, like I said, once you uncover one layer, it's next layer, rabbit hole. You just fall into the rabbit hole of finding out all this stuff about this religion. But when my mama, she was like, well, how do you know that stuff is true? I said, Mother, do you consider me okay enough to handle your finances, to handle your affairs at this point in your life? I said, I done got myself to 55. I'm an ardent viewer of politics, love the sportsmanship of politics. I said, but I even know that politics is a whole bunch of BS. And I know I can smell it a mile away. I said, granted, you have deep fakes and you have all this different kind of stuff going on out here. Now, why would people want to make up something against Jehovah's Witnesses that they haven't made? The Catholics, the Southern Baptists, they've all had this issue as far as having molestation, as far as with children, child abuse and stuff. Now, my thing is, why would I believe a religion that don't even total the number of people in one state, the state of Texas? You have more Texans than you do Jehovah's Witnesses. Why would a loving God, if he could put every last one of Jehovah's Witnesses in literally probably one county in Texas, kill all the rest of the planet of people off? There is a section or a segment of humans that have never even heard of Jehovah's Witnesses. More than likely, they're Muslim, because they have you can't break through their shield over there. Or then as far as Buddhists, you can't break through that shield. There are certain areas of religion, of the planet where you can't even get another religion in there. So he would just kill those people off, and they have never heard. I said, so does that make sense? So even if what the witnesses says is true, even if what they say is true, please be assured the end ain't near then. The end is not near. That means a whole lot of people still got to learn about who this God is to make their decision. And for a relative of mine that I told, plain as day, children inherit their DNA. They do not inherit their religion. Let them make a decision based on what their love is. If they don't believe in this, or they ain't not 20 years old, who's trying to build those witnesses in their 20s? I'm gonna promise you I wouldn't. Now I'm not saying, some people don't feel inspired, but let's be realistic. But be realistic. Just be logical. Just be logical. And you know what? Don't take my word, his word, or her word. Just look back, go on jw.org, and you can read the bullshit for yourself and watch it contradict. Go in there and look and say, do we shun family? And look at the answers that they give
to the public versus what the actions are within.
Yeah. That's all you have to do. Why do you have to sugarcoat something that's realistic? Why do you have to say, well, no, they chose to leave Jehovah? No, well, you're still making a choice to shun them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he made a choice based on the research that he did. I made a choice based on the research I did. Now if you don't choose to believe the research, that's for you not to believe it. But at least do it. Is your faith so fragile that you can't look at something and make an educated or informed enough guess that where the people in New York gotta say, no, you can't even look at it? That's not an option for you to look at it. As soon as people start telling you not to look at something, that means you need to look at it.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yep.
Because the truth ain't got nothing to fear. The truth's gonna stand up on its own. The sky is going to be blue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Simple as the truth is gonna be the truth. It's never gonna change.
And you know what? You said your mother, when it comes to your mother, you said, she asked you, she said, how can you trust that source, right?
Mm-hmm.
She should have asked herself the same question with the organization. Just like every witness should, right?
Yeah.
But that's the problem. Witnesses, they're so quick to double guess when it comes to the apostate lies, like these so-called apostate lies. Oh, how do you know that's true? They could say the same thing when it comes to the leaders, especially when the leaders say they're not inspired by God. If someone says they're not inspired by God, I would be like, hold up, how can I trust this source? Well, they're not inspired by God. Why am I listening to them? Like that, it makes zero sense.
My sister would probably say something like they try hard because they're trying.
I'm trying.
So you mean to tell me ain't nobody else trying?
I'm
Well,
trying.
what's wrong with my trying then?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If they're allowed to just try hard and it's okay if they get it all wrong, why do Jehovah's Witnesses shun their families when your family doing the best they can? And y'all darn near worship, not darn near, you worship the governing body, and it don't matter if they right or wrong.
Yep.
So I
And
think
they usually be wrong.
99.9, probably no 100% of the time
They've never
they
been
wrong.
right about nothing.
I don't think they've been right about damn
I'm still
thing.
waiting on 1975.
Exactly.
Because, next year, our motto, look, what they say, shun no more in 2024. We going to still be alive in 2025.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we probably need to wrap it up because we gotta get XJW Bernie over here something to drink.
Yeah.
We gotta get him some water.
I got him some.
Oh yeah, he'd be real happy then.
Boy.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we
guys.
gonna have fun. We gonna continue to get together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Guys, I'm traveling right now. Like I said, 7 cities in 10 different days. I'm enjoying my life. I'm not waiting to no fake paradise that's never gonna happen. I'm not waiting in. We have one life to live. While you witnesses be standing at the carts, living boring lives, we're gonna be enjoying our lives, traveling, enjoying the real brotherhood. But yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Yo, I got
Alright.
my flag on. Got my flag on. Get my celebrate on again.
Ex-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out. She said I was crazy when I was saying
Yeah. I did say he was crazy.
it. Ex-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.
See you later, guys. Happy
Going back
Memorial
to
Day.
Big drinks.
Happy Memorial Day. Cheers.
Yes indeed.
You always say, do your research.
Deuces.
And you.
I've been drinking.
All right, everyone. Take care.